Hi, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in to the Empath Sisters once again. Thank you for joining us today. I'm really happy because my sister is here with me in person.
Yes.
So we're not doing this distantly, which is so nice to actually have her here in the same space and that we get to share the same energy. So I'm very excited about that. So.
Yeah, and the reason why I'm here in Saskatoon with her is because super exciting news. My grandson was born.
Yeah. Your first grandson.
Yes, my first grandson. Yeah, we have 2 granddaughters already, and we have a grandson now. And I was actually lucky enough to spend some time with him, and my daughter and my son-in-law, and it was fabulous. I was so grateful to be able to spend a couple weeks with them and just sort of get to spend some time getting to know the little guy. He is the cutest little baby. I'm not just saying that because I'm a grandma and all that, but he really is a cute baby.
He's super cute. I didn't get the chance to meet him because, of course, COVID and with everything going on. I've only got to see videos and pictures so far, but he is absolutely adorable. So I'm super proud to be a great aunt again. So I can't wait to meet him eventually. But he is super cute. So
he is super cute.
She's definitely a proud grandma here.
I am. Yes, I probably too much, maybe. I don't know, but
that's normal.
But yeah, normal. I mean, I've got only probably 100 pictures of him and a few videos. I don't know, but quite a bit.
We were going through some photos last night, and it was like,
you had to have pictures. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I'm just super, super happy and that everything went well, and I was just grateful enough to be able to be there. I mean, obviously I couldn't go with her to the hospital because of COVID, but I was able to help her with some postpartum care, so which is part of what I do too. I'm also a birth and postpartum doula, so that was nice. However, I really wanted to just kind of put a little bit of a topic on how grateful I was to see him, because it actually made me cry, because I had my collapse. Like I said in my intro, I had said that in 2012 I had suffered a sudden cardiac arrest, and I collapsed. And I honestly didn't think I was ever going to be here again. And so I really am super grateful for being able to see my kids grow, for one, because that specific year was the daughter that had my grandson, who was graduating high school that year. And I remember being at her grad crying because I was so grateful to be able to be alive to see her graduate. So to see her be a mom, and
it's good feelings. It's good feelings.
Yeah,
feels good.
So anyway,
lots of gratitude. Yeah.
It was really just great, because it made me really feel like I am here for a purpose, and I'm here to learn more or be out there to help people, because I know that I'm meant to be here. And to go on that story, just to give you a little bit of a background on it, it happened in BC, and at the time my husband and I and our children were living in Manitoba due to my husband's job, and I had flown out to Vernon, BC, and spent some time with my brother, because at that time he needed help too.
I think they asked you to come kind of nanny.
Yeah, like I was asked to come and take care of their 2 boys, and at that time they just needed someone to watch the boys. So I went, and one day, January 24th of 2012, we went to the Vernon Rec Center, and we decided that we were going to go have a fun day at the rec center. And my brother Keith took the boys to go swimming, and I decided I didn't want to go swimming. I was going to run on the treadmill. And so at this facility, they have like the swimming pool and everything else down below, and then the exercise equipment was up top. So you could actually like do your run or do exercises while watching people down in the pool.
Right.
So I went, and I decided I wanted to do a half-hour run, and I said after my run I was going to meet them down in the hot tub, because my second nephew, like my brother's second son, he was super into, you know, going into the hot tub. He was not really the biggest swimmer at that time, and he's like, I want to go in the hot tub. So I said I would meet them down there.
Yeah.
So I went up to the exercise room, and I picked out a treadmill, put in my time, and I started doing my run. And there was an older couple that had just showed up, and I remember when I was running, it literally felt like, because I hadn't run for a little while too, I was sort of being a little bit lazy and decided, you know, get back into it again. And this lady and this gentleman came beside me, and while I was running, it literally sounded like I was an elephant. Honest to God. Yeah, it was just like banging on it. And I remember turning to the lady going like this, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I'm so loud. And she was like laughing, because she was like, oh, don't worry, we're deaf, you know, it's good, just whatever. And I was like, okay. And I just kept on running. And then the next thing I know, there's this other girl, and she hops on the treadmill beside me. And I happened to just look down at the pool area, and I had seen a gentleman with a couple of kids, and in my mind when I looked down, I thought, oh my God, it's my brother and the kids, and they're getting ready to get out of the pool to go to the hot tub.
Right.
Because when I looked down, and this is the part where that's kind of like foggy for me, I remember the time being either 6 minutes or 9 minutes left of my run. So I thought to myself, I better hurry and get my run done so that I could meet them down there. However, when I did that, everything went black. Yeah. I don't even at that time I don't remember what happened. I mean, I will tell you probably another episode what happened, but I literally didn't I don't even know what happened. I just remember waking up in the hospital, and I remember my brother going, oh my God, you collapsed. And I was like, what are you talking about? Mm-hmm. No,
because you didn't remember, like you didn't know.
No,
you collapsed.
I had no idea that I had collapsed.
Yeah.
And I honestly thought that I just fainted. I really did. And the doctors were just so concerned, and they were like doing all these tests on me, and they were like, no, you have to stay here. And
probably like, what?
Yeah.
I'm fine. I just fainted.
Like I was like, no, I'm
okay.
I'm fine. And he literally took my arm, and he was like, no.
No.
He's like,
you're not.
No, you're not. You have to stay. And all this. And so then they airbacked me to Victoria, because they were very concerned, because they thought definitely there had been something wrong with my heart, and they needed to do more testing. So then after all of that, and we had other things that happened in our family, and I finally had left, and they I don't even know how to even start, but I ended up going home, and
were you in Victoria for a few weeks?
Yeah, I was there from the I can't remember if it was the 26th or the 27th, and then I got discharged on February 1st.
Yeah.
And went back to Vernon, and then I went to the rec center to thank them for everything, and then I went home to Manitoba. Mm-hmm. And when I got home to Manitoba, that's when I literally remember I remember the exact moment. I put my seatbelt on, and it was funny, it was the seatbelt. Mm-hmm. And I put my seatbelt on, and I went like that, and it was like a movie in my head showing me that I remembered everything. Wow. I remembered everything about the whole collapse.
It was like click, like the light went
yes.
up. Just
yeah. And
switch.
then I realized, because at that time, like, we really did have so much stuff going on. Unfortunately, our father had passed during those, like, from when I got discharged to go home to Manitoba, and we had to go back for his funeral. Like, we just had so much going on. It was a lot. It was a real...
2012 was a rough year.
Yeah,
just
it really
so much.
was.
From the very beginning, January, there was just so much. And it's so... I think it was just 2012 was such a significant year for us and our family, and really just kind of like really amped up this whole journey.
Right.
For
yeah.
us.
And that's exactly where, and that's why I'm saying this, is because that moment, it literally just went bing, and it showed me, like, I did not forget. I know what happened.
Yeah.
I still don't remember the time, like on my treadmill.
Right.
But I do remember everything after that, because I had an outer body experience. Like, I remember being, like, it's weird to explain, but I remember being up, like, it was almost
hovering
like I was
above.
like up in the ceiling.
Yeah. Looking
down. And that's why I remember hearing my brother scream my name, because, like, I kind of had a little bit of, like, remembrance, and, like, just with my brother telling me what had happened, and I kept questioning that. And it was like, bam, I knew everything. I saw him running up the stairs from the pool. I saw him come up. I'm laying on the ground. They had, like, me, like, opened up and like using the AED on me.
Wow.
And, you know, asking me where like who I am, and I felt like I was conscious, but I wasn't. Like, my eyes were shut.
Yeah.
Like, total shut. And I remember getting on the gurney.
Yeah, conscious here, but not in your body.
Yeah, I was definitely not in my body.
Yeah.
And I watched it all. Like, I remember them putting me on the gurney and down the stairs, and they were even saying, like, oh my God, this is tight, and like, watching all of this happen and get to the hospital, and the nurses talking to me, but I'm not, like, awake.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Watching it like a movie.
Yes. Yeah.
But yet it's you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so bizarre. And, like, watching everybody in the hospital, like, it was, I don't even know how to explain it to you. It's like I could see my brother over in another room.
Yeah.
Wondering what's going on, and talking to the nurses, and then it was like, honest to God, a light switch.
Yeah.
It just went bing, and all of a sudden I was in my body.
Yeah.
And I woke up and I went, what just happened? Yeah. And my brother was like, oh my God. And then I was like, oh my God, like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And so that experience brought me, even though like I said in my intro, I've always been intuitive. I've always seen spirit on it, like, seen them.
Yeah.
And it's always been in my life, but I always tried to block it out. But that moment changed my perspective.
For sure.
Changed my life on how everything works.
Yeah.
And I don't really know how to explain it to someone, because it's something that,
I think it's just an experience. Like,
yeah.
Sometimes it's so hard to explain an experience. Sometimes there's no words that can describe. It's almost like for those who have had children, when you go through a pregnancy and then you go through the birth, and and that whole experience of becoming a parent or a mother is like, it's just the feelings that you have, and the whole experience of looking at this new life, and that you also created it, and you just have this unconditional love for this being, and it's just something you can't explain to people, because it's just that experience.
Right.
And so,
and that's how I feel about this, is because I really can't explain it. I'm trying as best as I can.
For sure.
But it definitely opened the doorway for me. I remember my first experience with it. After everything settled down, like with just healing and like physically, and which, by the way, another miracle too. I seriously though, like I had open heart surgery in 2004, and I had a repair on my mitral valve, which it means it was not a replacement. It was a ring where they just took it and they cut it and they put a ring and tightened my valve. That was intact. It was not damaged. My heart was not damaged. I have had all the testing you could imagine, even genetic
testing. Yes. And nothing.
And nothing. And doctors were just flabbergasted because they were like, we don't know. So they've come to the point of two ways. One of them was they think maybe scarring by going in to have surgery in the heart, or I had an arrhythmia, which means your heart rate can go really high and the heart just doesn't know what to do with it, and then it just stopped. Yeah. So my heart stopped actually for 2 minutes, and I was very, very lucky because and I call it my lucky day. I really do, because that day, all of the employees and staff that was at the Vernon Rec Center was on a first aid training day.
Oh gosh.
So they were all there to help, and they were awesome. So fast. And what else is really cool was about 2 weeks before that, I think, or maybe a month. I can't remember. You'd have to look it up. But that same rec center saved a little girl from swallowing, I believe it was a penny or something, or she found something in the pool. Like they saved her life too. Wow. So, I mean, I couldn't have been in better hands.
I think about. I remember that day actually. I remember that day clearly. I remember just talking to you and my brother, and they were just on their way to go to the rec center, and we were chatting, and we're gonna go swimming and blah blah blah, and I was like, okay, you guys have fun, we'll talk to you later. And then within a couple of hours I got a phone call from my brother, I believe, or my brother-in-law, her husband, and just saying that Shelly had a collapse, and like all of a sudden, so it was just like instantly, it was just like everything had just changed. And I know that experience is definitely. And I'm so grateful my sister's here, and I'm so grateful for how, for the experience that she's had and everything that she's been through, how it turned out, and I'm so grateful for that. And it has definitely taught me that it's, that life can change quicker than a kiss, like that. It's so fast, and I know that's why, I know you even said it in your intro, like, just living for the moment and just trying to be present and live your life, because life is so fast. It goes by quickly, and it can change quickly.
Oh, and absolutely.
So I'm just, so that day definitely, I will never forget it, and I'm just so grateful for how it turned out. But I have a question actually. So like when you were talking, if I back up into your story, and you were saying about like the seatbelt when it clicked, and then all of a sudden you just saw everything again. So after you saw like the whole movie and you got all that knowledge back again, then what did you think after that? Like, what was your reaction, or how did you feel when it just? Well,
I know. Like, I remember the reaction, because as soon as I did the seatbelts, I went like that, because it literally, it was like wham, like
it just came right.
It just came right in, and my poor husband was driving, and he was like, "What?" Because what I failed to forget to tell you too was, because after I did all the testing, doctors decided that they couldn't let me go. Well, it's not that they couldn't let me go out of the hospital, but they decided that the best option for me, because there was unknown of what happened to me,
and probably the safest,
they decided to put an ICD, which is an implantable cardiac defibrillator. It's like a pacemaker. It does have the pacemaker part of it, but I don't have that on, because that's not my problem. Like, I don't have the heart that needs to help be pumped. This is just to help me, basically my own internal AED. That's what it is. And so they put that in Victoria. And so we were told, like, if anything were to happen, that I would get a shock from it. So when I did that moment of, my husband was thinking I was getting a shock. So I felt so bad because I was like, because it's like, what? Because it was like, what?
What's the matter?
And I was like, I remember. That's what I said. I go, I remember. I remember. And he was like, remember what?
Yeah, like, what are you remembering?
Like, and then I started to cry a little bit because it was so overwhelming. It was so like, oh my God, I remember what happened. I remember what.
How amazing, though, really, to be able to remember.
Yeah.
Thinking like you just fainted. All this has happened to you, and now it's like you're processing and you're healing and you're home, and then all of a sudden you fully remember, and to remember that experience. Like that is
because
amazing.
because after I had even been released from the hospital and I got to my brother's in Vernon, I was interviewed by a lot of people.
Yeah.
And all I could say was, all I remember was running on the treadmill, and I think there was 6 minutes or 9 minutes left, and it was like a TV, like a TV when it goes snowy and it just went black. That's all I said.
Yeah.
So when that happened to me, I went, oh my God, it was way bigger than what I had said, because I could not remember. So when that happened, I honestly don't know why this motion and the click just clicked, but it just clicked.
Yeah.
So.
And didn't you go back to the rec center
I did.
a year later?
Yeah. No, it was a couple months.
But
They had
now
invited me.
Remembered.
Yes.
And then you went back.
Yes.
So what was that like?
Well, it was different because at that time it was the people that actually saved me.
Yeah.
So, or I guess
assisted. Were there?
Not saved me, but they did.
Kinda did.
Yeah, I guess they did.
Yeah.
I mean, but it was overwhelming too, because how do you, and I kept saying to them, there are no words to say, how to say even thank you.
Yeah.
There is none.
No.
There is none.
All you want to do is just have emotion.
Yes, and that's exactly what I did. I cried a lot. It was very difficult to say thank you, because how do you do that? And they just kept saying, oh, it's our job. It's our job. And I get that, but
still.
But
was it
But
weird,
it's a
though?
human life.
To be there and remember after the fact you remembered hovering over and seeing everybody. And
I will tell you, so this is what happened. So after I got released, the first from Victoria, and I got to Vernon, I actually did go to the rec center to say thank you. It was 2 days before I left Vernon.
Oh, okay.
And I had just been healing, and I felt I needed to go and say thank you. And I remember that day because I almost caused myself to give myself a shock that day.
Oh, jeez.
Because my anxiety was so high that, because it was just so emotional. I was so emotional. And I remember walking in and sitting with them and sitting at the desk, and I couldn't even talk. Dwayne, my husband, was like, she's really she's really grateful. She's really grateful. She's so thankful, and we're thankful. And I was just because it was so emotional. So after that, and then they asked me to come back in May because of the lifeguard and the paramedic. They all got to come and see me, and they were so thankful to see me and grateful to see me. And that was a little bit more different. It was overwhelming too, because again, like I said, it was hard to figure out how to say thank you to them too. Yeah. And by going back there, I was overwhelmed for sure. It did give me some memories, but it didn't give me that oh my God, it happened here.
Oh,
it didn't.
Good.
It didn't.
I was just
going to
ask you, did you have any fear come up? Were you scared to be in that
I wasn't.
again?
I didn't. I actually did feel good about going there, because it was I knew that I was in the right place. Yeah. Because I used to run in my basement and out in the country where we lived in Manitoba, and so where it happened couldn't have been any better. Yeah, honestly, because if it would have happened at home, I would have been alone. And there was no one going to be around because my kids were in school, my husband worked shift work. Like there was just no way.
The chances, But even I was thinking about that at the time. I was thinking, thank God you weren't, at Keith's and you were alone with the boys, and because they were so little at the time that they wouldn't have known what to do, or probably to call 911 or anything like that. And so it was just like, oh my God, I really thank God that day.
And that's why I, to this day, with the whole outer body experience and to now, that's why I believe that was supposed to happen. Where it was supposed to happen and how. The only I shouldn't say regret, because that's not what I mean. What I struggled with, I guess I should say, out of that experience, the whole experience, was that I really didn't want my brother to see me that way. That I struggled with for a while. Like it was probably years until I finally opened up with my brother, and we had conversations on that as well. And he made it so much better for me because I struggled. I really did. I just kept replaying what had happened and how he saw it. And he told me that, Shelly, it wasn't that. It was more that he was glad that I wasn't alone and that I was there. So that made me feel so much better because I struggled. So.
Yeah, that would have been tough for sure.
Yeah, it was. So that is basically what happened in 2012. And so after that had happened and we had gone through other stuff in that year, and it was a tough year for our family. And I just remember, like I said in my intro, it opened the doorway. Like there was just no way of them going, we're not going to stop now. So, and I definitely could tell you a story about how it opened up, but I would like to save that for another day. But I just wanted to just share with you all this, and just to let you know that's why I'm grateful, because of where I am now today. Because it has been 9 years, and I've been able to get to see a lot of things happen in those 9 years. So I'm super grateful. I cannot explain how grateful I am. And so when I got to even see my grandson, and I had a moment, I teared because I was just so thankful to just be able to see her be a mommy, my daughter be a mommy, and my son grow up too, and because he was quite young.
Married,
my daughters get married.
Your granddaughters, you got to be there for your granddaughters too when they were born.
I did.
So.
I was so grateful for that too, because not that, I've had 3 children, and it's different when you have your own children because you're giving birth to these children, so you don't get to really it's not that you don't experience it, it's a different way.
Just a different experience.
And so when my first experience of watching a baby being born, besides me, out of me, was my sister right here.
Yeah. I was going to say, hey, actually, that was me. I was the first one.
Yes. Yeah. And
that was
I remember cool. that. It was wow. Honest to God, it was just amazing. And I remember going, I still feel this way, and I think that's part of the reason why I went on to being a birth doula as well, is because it's amazing what us humans can do in our bodies, and
amazing.
Even how we create these things, it's amazing. So I was so grateful to be able to be at least 2 births.
Yeah, 2 of my 3. Yeah, 2 of my 3.
Yeah, I didn't get to go to the 3rd.
Yeah,
but I really just can't even explain how grateful I have.
Yeah, and I was so grateful. Through this. I was so grateful to have her there with me. Oh my gosh, she's very good at what she does. It's definitely, I feel a calling for her to be a doula. She supported me through my entire pregnancy, all the pregnancies actually that I had. She also supported me through, and just all the firsts. My sister had kids before I did. All her kids were born before I had my first. And so she had experience. And it was just even the whole pregnancy to the birth to post partum. And it was just, it's amazing. Honestly, I'm a firm believer in doulas because they're just such great support. And even for the spouse in the room, even I know with COVID right now it's limited, but hopefully in the future this can change again. But just the support that the spouses can get, and just even with the breastfeeding and just everything to start, it was just very helpful. So I was super grateful to have you there, and I'll never forget that day either, because I was really expecting to have a son first, and I really in my heart wanted a daughter at the time, and then I just remember my sister going, "It's a girl,"
I was like this.
Oh yeah, literally like freaking out in my face, and I was like, "What?" And I was not expecting that. So it was such a huge shock for me to have a daughter first. So it was amazing.
Awesome.
It was
cool. it was a great experience, and I remember it too, and I remember just like how everything went, like in the room, and
it was a long time.
Oh,
but it was good. It was fine. But
fine.
That's a great story.
Yeah, and like even with her second, like I was there, and I was super grateful for that too, because even with her first, like when a baby is born, you get to cut the cord, and so her husband at the time got to cut the first cord, and then when she had her son, her second birth, I was at. He said that I could cut the cord, and I was like, "Oh no, this is your son! Like, you cut the cord." And he was like, "No, I did it once. I'm good. You go ahead." And I was like, "Oh my God!" Like, I will not forget that either, because it was so amazing.
Which sounds really weird. That would be amazing.
I know, but it was.
I guess the experience could be amazing.
It was.
Or like an honor, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it was. I guess. Yeah, it was
like
more
an
an
honor.
Yeah, that's right. It was.
And my son grew up saying that his auntie made his belly button.
Yeah, I love
for
that.
a long time.
It was so cute for a long time. He's like, he'd pull his shirt up and he'd
show
like,
people.
Like,
so proud.
I made my belly button.
Till he got older and we really explained how that all works. But
and then
it
he
was adorable.
Like,
oh. Gross. I don't want to know, thanks.
Yeah. But it really truly was an experience, and something that I'll never forget, and I was super grateful, and so anyway, that's a
good story.
I just, like I said, I just wanted to kind of elaborate a little bit on why I'm here with Bev. And why I'm so grateful. And part of my story a little bit, just to kind of give you a little bit of a picture of who I am and how I've come to be today, I guess. Right.
Kind of like how your spiritual journey has really awakened. That's quite the way to awaken.
Right.
I could say there's probably a lot of people that haven't awakened like that before.
and that's true, because I mean, I like I said earlier, I did have open heart surgery, and there's another story to that as well.
Yeah.
But that can be for another day.
I just wanted to add before we close here is that I love how you were able to say that you were grateful that even the experience had happened.
Oh, yeah.
Because not a lot of people can sit there and say, "Oh, I'm grateful that I had a collapse and that I went through all of that and that I had an out-of-body experience and that, how scary that could be." And there was lots of things that I know from the outside here that my sister has had to endure after the fact of learning to like live again and to not be afraid of her heart or that it could stop, or there was just so much that she had to go through.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say that it was easy. No, trust me, it wasn't.
And I saw that. And so not a lot of people, I remember having a conversation with you saying like, some things happen for a reason. And it was just like, why would I want to experience something like that? And it's hard for a lot of people to understand that sometimes scary or horrible things that we can endure sometimes actually are for the good of things.
Right.
And that there are positives out of the negatives. And so there was so many positives that came out of that situation. And I'm so grateful also in my heart to hear my sister say today that she's grateful for that experience and that it's led her down this amazing journey, even though if it is like this or like this or whatever.
It is like this and like this a lot. But
yeah, it's just, it's so nice when we can take experiences and just be able to turn them into a positive. So I'm really proud of you for that.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, but yeah, thank you so much for tuning in with us and listening to us chat about my sister's gratitude, I guess, today, which is awesome. And a little bit about how her journey has started for her back in 2012.
I mean, I honestly can't explain the gratitude that I have. And I mean, like I said, I agree with my sister and what she said. It hasn't been easy, but I have days where, yes, it's like, why did this happen?
Yeah.
But I am grateful for being here still.
Totally.
And so that's what I look at all the time and have to remind myself that too, right? We all have to remind ourselves that our life is short and that we need to be grateful for the things that we have.
Totally.
There are things in this life that we are so not grateful for.
Yeah.
And
so many things we don't look at that we should be grateful for that are just there. I know, like, even just lots of traveling that we've done, you know, to other countries. I've definitely also learned when I came back to how grateful I was just to even own a toothbrush.
Oh my God.
Just,
yes,
when we
and
went
that's
to the
another
Philippines.
story.
It was just an amazing trip.
It really was.
But yeah, I have definitely learned gratitude for sure in my life and the journey that I've been through and everything that I've gone through in my life from a child to now, and even all the hard things that I've been through and endured in my journey, I'm still grateful for, and I would not change any of those. And I tell my clients that all the time. I just, as crappy as some of those things were, or horrible as they were, I'm still grateful because it made me who I am today. And those experiences also helped me to help other people, and I'm grateful for that. So, and so every day that I open up my eyes in bed, I literally give thanks. I'm just grateful I woke up on the right side of the grass and I have another day to do what it is that I love to do and live life and be in the present and to help my clients or be with my family again. And so just be grateful. Just be grateful. Look at the things that you have in your life and just find one thing even every day to be grateful for.
That's right.
But I know we are both very grateful that you have tuned in and listened to our session today. So thank you so much for tuning in with us, the Empath Sisters. Yes, thank you.
And we're sending you love, light, and gratitude wherever you guys are.
Absolutely.
And have a great day.
Have a wonderful day. Love and light to you all. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.